If we know that f of x is 9x cubed minus 21x squared plus 11, we can determine the most likely shape by looking at this leading term. Since the leading coefficient 9 is positive, that means it's going to go up on the right hand side. Because the degree is 3, that means it's going to have at most 2 terms. 1, 2. Overall then, this is going to be the most likely shape of the graph. Knowing that, we can answer the following questions about what happens to the y-coordinate as x increases or decreases. So as x approaches infinity, that means we're looking at the right side of the graph. And as x gets bigger and bigger and bigger, what happens to the y-coordinate? It also gets bigger and bigger. That means f of x is going to approach infinity. As x approaches negative infinity, that means we're talking about the left side of the graph. So as the x-coordinate moves to the left, the y-coordinate is going to go down. That means f of x is going to approach negative infinity. As for what happens as x approaches 1, that's going to be somewhere in the middle here. But because f of x is continuous, that means that when we plug in 1, we'll know what f of x will equal. So let's do that. Finding out what f of 1 is means we'll have 9 times 1 cubed minus 21 times 1 squared plus 11, which is 9 minus 21 plus 11 looks like negative 1 to me. So that means f of x is going to approach negative 1. When it comes to the y-intercept, I'm just trying to get you to remember that, hey, that constant term, that's the y-intercept, 11. So let's do it again on the function g of x equals negative 41 x squared minus 39. Again, the most likely shape comes from the leading term. Because the leading coefficient is negative, negative 41, it's going to go down on the right side. Because the degree is 2, it's going to have at most 1 term. So this is the most likely shape of negative 41x squared minus 39. Looking at that shape, let's determine what happens as x approaches positive infinity. As x gets bigger and bigger and bigger, the y-coordinates are going to go down, so g of x is going to approach negative infinity. As x approaches negative infinity, as x moves to the left, the y-coordinate is also going down, so g of x is going to approach negative infinity. And as x approaches negative 2, again, g of x is a polynomial, so it's continuous. We can just find out what g of negative 2 is by going negative 41 times 2 squared minus 39. That'll be negative 41 times 4 minus 39. If you need to do that on your calculator, you should come up with negative 203. That means as x approaches negative 2, g of x is going to approach negative 203. And the y-intercept, of course, is the constant term, so that'll just be negative 39.